We have Rich Overman with his Creation Museum on Revolution Against Evolution tonight. Welcome to Revolution Against Evolution. I'm your host, Doug Sharp.
And your co-host Rich Gear here as well. And Rick, I'm excited to have you on. So yeah, without any further ado, Doug, I guess we're gonna let him go for it.
Okay, Rich, describe to us your Creation Museum that you have been developing.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Doug and Rich. It's good to be with you today. We have my wife and I, Ginger, have a creation science ministry that we actually started back in 1994. We got
Hmm.
involved in creation science in 1992 when we went to a Back to Genesis seminar, and we have been praying about the ministry that God had for us. And when we went to that seminar, we both agreed that he wanted us in some sort of creation science ministry. So we got involved in that. I got my master's degree in science education from Institute for Creation Research. And we just incorporated the ministry in 1994, and God has used us in many different ways over the years. Starting back about 2000, we started going down to the Peace River, which the picture of that behind me, uh, in Arcadia, working with Gary and Mary Parker at their Creation Adventures Museum, to take groups down there to do fossil hunting in the Peace River. The Peace River is full of fossils. Florida's full of fossils, actually. We did that for 24 years. And then last year, when we went down there, Mary Parker was not feeling very well. And within a few weeks after we were down there, she went in the hospital, and the doctor said she couldn't go home. She had to go live with her daughter. And so they decided they were going to close their museum. So they called us up one day and they said, "We're closing the museum. Do you want to come down and get some fossils?" And we were like, "Oh, yeah, that's cool." So we went down there to get some fossils. And while we were down there, I had this divine, strange, weird idea of wouldn't it be cool to have a mobile fossil museum? And so I brought it up to my board of directors, and they said, "Let's go for it." And within 6 months, God provided us with a trailer for the museum. The trailer we used for transporting and storage of the fossils, and he provided us with it with another car because the car we had couldn't pull it. And we got the displays and everything all set up, and within 6 months we were ready to go. In January this year, we had our first museum. I'm going to actually see if I can pull up a picture of the trailer.
That'd be great.
So you can see it. I'll put it as the background. So that's how it got started, and we've had just a lot of fun with it. So far this year, we've had over 1,400 people go through the museum. We took it to the Creation Research Society conference in St. Louis.
And you call this museum the Four Cs?
Yeah, the Four Seas Mobile Fossil Museum. You can see that it's kind of a mirror image of the trailer behind me there. But we call it the Four Seas Mobile Fossil Museum. The four C's stand for the first one is creation, since the fossils that we dig up and we show are created animals. And then the second C is corruption, since the fossils are dead animals. And when Adam and Eve sinned, they brought death into the world. The third C is catastrophe, since the flood of Noah's time created the perfect conditions for fossilization. And then the fourth C is Christ, since Christ came to redeem us from the sin that Adam and Eve brought into the world. So we call them missionary fossils. And another cool thing about when we were putting the museum together, we were raising money through our email list and so forth. And I put out in the email, one email, I said, we need a logo. And so one of our supporters contacted a friend of theirs who is a graphic artist, and
Mhm.
he created that logo that's behind me there. We got the little the nautiloid with our CER logo in the middle, and then the Four Seas Fossil Museum going around it. So then we see we have all four C's on the trailer:
Okay.
creation, corruption, and on the back of the trailer, we have a picture of Dr. Gary and Mary Parker in honor of them. Mary since passed away. She passed away a few months after we started
Yeah,
putting the museum together.
I remember her. Now, what's
Yeah.
Gary doing these days?
Gary is living with one of his daughters.
Okay.
He's pretty much retired from creation work. He still, I think, gets the journals and stuff like that, but he doesn't really do any more writing or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Now you
doesn't
did
do
the
much
four
traveling.
C's. Did you come up with that before Answers in Genesis came up with the seven C's, or how did that work?
Yeah, so the Parkers, Gary and Mary Parker, for their creation museum, I think they came up with the four C's before um, Answers in Genesis came up with the seven C's. And then when we got the fossils from them with their permission, we just kept using it.
Okay, because
Yeah,
Gary and Ken Ham worked together for a while there.
they did, yes.
They did a lot of stuff together there very, very early on. I didn't know there was some overlap there as far as that goes, as far as the
Yeah,
naming.
they worked together at Institute for Creation Research, and then after Ken Ham started Answers in Genesis, Gary started working for him as well, for them as well.
Okay,
I think Gary, Dr. Parker worked for both, or both organizations at the
yes,
same time,
yeah,
just freelance.
okay. Because I remember Doug and I did a seminar, and Gary was at it at one time, and we had another one where Ken Ham was at it, but I don't think they were ever. Doug, were they there? Were they together at one time? I can't remember if they were ever
No,
together. I didn't think they were. I thought they were two separate things. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, they've done seminars together,
yeah.
but yeah.
Ken
So
Ham went to New Covenant Christian School in 1995, and then we had Gary Parker at Mount Hope Church
Church, yeah.
shortly afterwards. So it was very early on in what we were doing and with our
Yeah.
TV show. And of course, now we have this will be episode 1011. But anyway, Rich, I know that you also have creation education resources as the name of your organization is creationeducation.com. Or is it org?
it's .org, creationeducation.org.
Okay, and you maintain a database
Hmm.
of creation information. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have this database. We call it the Research Assistance Database. The database dates back to my graduate studies at the Institute for Creation Research. When I was there doing my research and learned about all these different ways to find out what's in the literature and things like that. And that was all for secular literature, but there was no clearinghouse, if you will, for creationist writings. And
Oh,
not
yeah.
long after I got involved in the creation science ministry, I started to build up a bit of a library. And I realized that I didn't really even know what I had in my library. So I was fortunate that my mother-in-law, who was our snowbird, she lived in Maryland, but she came down in the winter, and she was a secretary and loved to type. So I set up an access database and asked her to start typing the information from my library into the database. And she put in all the articles, all the letters to the editors, and if they were not abstracted, she abstracted them. And it wasn't long, I had over 1,200 records in the database.
Wow.
And then we contacted different organizations like Creation Research Society, Institute for Creation Research, and some of the other organizations that put out publications, and told them what we were doing, and they sent us back issues of their publications. So she was putting those in. Eventually, we created a CD with the database on it, and now it's online at creationeducation.org. When you log on, there's a big red button that says RAD with and Research Assistance Database above it. You click that, takes you to the database. You can do all sorts of searches, Boolean searches, where you can put in and or whatever. And it has over 30,000 records in it now, and it's all
Hmm.
young Earth creationist writings.
Wow.
Didn't you end up with Dr. Eric von Fange's index cards?
I did. I did. I have his index cards. I haven't had a chance to do anything with him yet, but I did end up with him, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing him in, I think he lived in Tecumseh or somewhere down there,
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
and he was quite a resource for creation research. I think he was associated with Concordia uh,
Concordia, yeah.
in
Yep.
Ann Arbor. So, do you have any examples of any of your fossils that you show
Or
in?
give us your top 10, if you will.
Oh, okay. I'll show you just a lot of the displays that we've put together.
I do know the Peace River is a real resource for gathering fossils, and I think didn't weren't there some uh, ice age fossils like mastodons or
Yeah, that we find mastodon, we find mammoth, we find just about anything except for dinosaurs. As far as I know, nobody's found any dinosaur fossils in in Florida. But Florida is full of fossils. If you can I share my screen?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so Florida is full of fossils. And my theory about Florida, and I've talked to some of the creation geologists about this. I said, here's my theory. You tell me if I'm crazy. And they haven't told me I'm crazy yet, so I'm going with it. But what I think is that toward the end of the flood, Florida was a big sandbar that got built up toward the end of the flood. And a lot of the animals that died during the flood got washed up onto the sandbar.
Oh,
And then some more sediment came in and washed over them and covered them up. And so that's why Florida is just full of fossils. You could go to the Peace River, take a shovelful, find a gravelly area in the Peace River, take a shovelful and put it in a screen and wash it out. And you could have a shark's teeth in there. You could have llama teeth. You could have camel teeth. You could have shark vertebrae or deer vertebrae. All of those could be in that one shovelful. So this is some sand dollar fossils that I got from a friend of mine. In fact, he passed away a few months ago, and his widow came to me and she said, my husband had some boxes. I think they're just rocks, but if you want them, you can have them. She gave them to me, and probably about half of them were fossils, and he had a whole
huh.
bunch of sand dollar fossils. And so I put them together in this display. Um, yeah, that's kind of a cool one. That's not one that we got at the Peace River, but it's one of my favorites because um, mainly where it came from, John Badger, and also from the um, from with the display, the way I put together the display. Let me pull up another one. I want to try to get to some of the other displays that we have in our museum. So this is the first group of fossils that we got from the Parkers. I kind of laid them out in on the floor in my office. And so you see, we have all sorts of sand sharks. This is turtle shell here, and we have a bunch of turtle shell there, a bunch of horse teeth, and different kinds of teeth here, llama teeth, and so forth. This is armadillo scoot that they gave us, and oh, this right here is a horse jaw. This horse jaw came out of the Peace River. It has a bunch of teeth in it. Of course, we got a bunch of megalodon teeth there. And this was a display that the Parkers had where they showed the four C's. So that's one of our prominent displays that we use. Um, right here, you can see where my mouse is pointing, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So right here, this is a cast of a mammoth tooth. And this one right here is an actual fossil mammal tooth. And this is a fossil mammal tooth. Not mammal, mammoth tooth.
I was going to ask you about that. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these are mammoth teeth. This is a cast of mastodon teeth.
Okay.
We do have some actual mastodon teeth in the collection. And that's a nice big that's a cast of a megalodon tooth. But here's a bunch of other megalodon teeth. So these are just a bunch of the different fossils that we have in the collection.
Explain what a megalodon is.
So a megalodon is a great white, basically a great white shark. It's they were much bigger pre-flood than they are today, and but basically a megalodon is a great white shark.
They're huge. Yeah. Because I mean, I've seen pictures of the megalodon jaws and next to a great white, and it dwarfs it. It's
Yeah,
pretty big. But
yeah,
so it's interesting because we you don't find any dinosaur fossils. Michigan is kind of the same way, isn't it, Doug? We've got mastodons and mammoths. We've had mostly mastodons. I don't know that I'm assuming there's other kinds of fossils as well, but dinosaurs, no, not in Michigan either. I wonder if there's a similarity of why why would you not find dinosaurs as just ecological niches? What washes up? How that happens? I'm sort of curious what some of the theories are.
Okay, I can give you a little bit about Michigan bedrock geology. Dinosaur-bearing rocks don't exist in Michigan, but the bedrock geology is like a basin, where the center of Michigan is you would find the younger fossils, and as you go out from the center, it goes progressively older in the geological sequence that it was traditional. Yet fossil-bearing rock that would have dinosaurs in it would have been too far down to be showing. And so anyway, but Tim Clary has a good discussion of the Michigan Basin as from a creationist standpoint in his book Carved in Stone. And
okay.
I guess the Creation Research Society is having a ongoing presentation of that book, uh,
Hmm.
which is pretty interesting. So I guess on Thursday nights every a couple of weeks actually it's Liberty University that's putting it on.
Well, okay.
yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, I think, if we look at where we find the fossils, at least in the US, they're mostly along the Rocky Mountain areas. And so my theory is that that was probably one of the higher points in the continent before the flood. And so the dinosaurs kept escaping the floodwaters and
Ah,
going up there, and they finally ran out of room up there.
ran out of real estate, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So this is one of the displays that I put together on Mount St. Helens, called Mount St. Helens Miracle Volcano, and it just shows the different geologic features that we saw occurred at Mount St. Helens that could showed how God did them in catastrophic form. Like this picture right here, it shows three different distinct layers, and those layers
Yeah.
we know were laid down in one day each. The bottom layer was laid down in one day, the middle layer in one day, and the top layer in one day. But if you they're very stratified, and if you happened upon Mount St. Helens and didn't know what it was, you might assume that little stratified layers represented a year and get millions of years out of it, but we know that that's not what happened. We had a 1/40th scale model of Grand Canyon was formed in one day. Um, God provided a floating log mat in Spirit Lake um, to show how Dr. Austin's floating mat model for coal would work as like a natural laboratory. And then, of course, the animals repopulated very rapidly after uh, Mount St. Helens erupted. Deer very rarely have more than one fawn at a time, but the herds around Mount St. Helens that were decimated had record numbers of twins and triplets. So that's just a one of the displays that I put together that helps us to share how the flood um, could have put a lot of these things together. When we go, oh, this is the back of the trailer. So when we're driving down the road and people get behind us, this is what they see. And so we have the barcode there. The barcode takes you to our website, creationeducation.org. And of course, then we have Dr. Gary Mary Parker there, and um, that's a really good look at the logo that was done for us. I did a display on the age of the Earth, or this is the dinosaur display. And for this display, up in the screen here, I got a video from Creation Research Society showing some of the soft tissue that they got out of the Triceratops
Oh
horn
yeah.
they were researching. And they sent this video, so I have it on a loop in this player, so you can see them stretching the video, the tissue and so forth. And then we have a bunch of dinosaur bones in here. One of these that I have is a hadrosaur hoof that Dr. Van Fang gave me. And and then I showed different things about man and dinosaur living together. And coming across the top here, back in the 1900s, 1990s, I guess it was. Paul Taylor put out an Acts and Facts on dinosaurs, and he had, I thought, just some really great quotes in there about the dangers of dinosaurs. So I put on these four things are his statement about the dangers in dinosaurs. We show the biblical explanation for dinosaurs. So it's just a nice little display about dinosaurs. And I'd love to get some more dinosaur bones to put in there, but uh, we don't find dinosaur bones in Florida. Um,
You're gonna have to go out to Arizona or Wyoming or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
Um,
is this your museum? Is it like it's a traveling museum? Is that what it is?
yep,
And do
yep.
you bring it out? Where do you like in churches, halls, or how do you set up? Where do you go?
Yeah, we take it wherever we can. I'll show you some pictures here. We were invited. I don't know if you know Marianne Stewart. Um, but she invited us out to Advent Christian Village. It's a retirement center,
Okay.
and we set up the fossil museum out there. I'll just kind of and I'll just scroll through some pictures about how it was set up. So this is just how it's, oh, this was given to us by a lady at our church. Some nice nautiloids.
Knowledge, yeah.
So the cool thing of this is we can set up the museum with whatever space is available. And then Ginger does work with the children, and I do presentations for the youth and adults. And so yeah, it's just it's just really fun. And I retired from consulting about the time we started this, and it was actually one of the things, so I have plenty of time to work with it. We've had over 1,400 people see the Mobile Fossil Museum since January, and we're just looking forward to some great things. We're going down to the Florida Association of Christian Colleges and Schools conference to try to get some more places to go.
Have you been out of state at all?
We took it to St. Louis
Okay.
for the Creation Research Society conference, and on the way we
Oh,
stopped at a church near Atlanta
okay.
and did a program for them.
It's awesome.
One of the things before we go, I wanted to mention that a lot of the fossils that you find are invertebrates, like clams and sand dollars, and a lot of these are bottom-dwelling sea creatures. They're
Hmm.
found throughout the fossil record. They're not just found down on the bottom. Yeah, and so you can't really date by the fossils, but there's index fossils that supposedly correlate to different types of environments that happened over the idea of evolution. And of course, we don't believe in that. We believe it all was buried during the Noah's flood.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
oftentimes I have people ask me how old the fossils are, and I say I think that probably most, if not all of them, are pre-flood fossils, are pre-flood animals that were buried during the flood, and even the so-called Ice Age fossils, the mastodons and the mammoths, I think they might have even been pre-flood as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, because they were around before the flood, and so they could have gotten killed and washed up onto the Florida sandbar like any of the other animals.
That's the big debate, what's pre-flood,
It's hard to
early
tell,
flood,
you
middle
know.
flood, post-flood.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, and of course, I'm not a geologist, but my simple answer is unless otherwise uh, convinced, they're pre-flood animals.
Okay.
well, just one more minute. This was a nice interview with you, Rich. We appreciate what you're doing, and I really appreciated coming down and visiting you a few years ago. And
Yeah, we enjoyed having you.
this is another ministry that's part of the whole pantheon of creation ministries in the United States. And so we have a lot of people who are individuals like you that do works like this, and that's very much appreciated.
Well, thank you for having me. And if anybody wants to get on our email list or join us on a fossil trip, they can email us at cer@creationeducation.org or go to
Hmm.
our website, creationeducation.org.
Great.
We'll see you next time on Revolution Against Evolution. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.